Yes, yes. I don't think an hour is enough today, Jackson. Should we just lock ourselves in here?
Barricade the door.
Welcome to Bloom Party. It's 101 ESPN. 101 ESPN YouTube channel as well. Jackson, I don't know what to say here, but Jackson, I feel like the film Single White Female. Good? Bad?
Good.
Wow, I'm surprised you're even, you've put it in your database on goodorbad.com.
I have weird taste.
Bridget Fonda, Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Love Jennifer Jason Leigh.
And she was in Back to the Future.
Was she?
Somebody will look that up.
She was definitely in Hateful Eight, and she has a wonderful performance.
But why do I bring up Single White Female, an obscure film from 3 decades ago, the morning after the Cardinal opener, the morning after Illinois goes to the Elite Eight, the morning after the Blues keep their hopes alive and turn their attention to the Los Angeles Kings? Because Jackson, just like Jennifer Jason Leigh did, is starting to dress like me, and I don't know what's going on. He's wearing a St. Gabriel's Golf Classic sweatshirt, and while I'm happy to see that, I mean, you're not a Southsider. All due respect, carpetbagger.
Right. But, and, there's plenty of folks who do a lot of the doing who may not belong. But either way.
I clip that off.
But... no, this is in honor of you.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, well, you throw a single on the scorecard. I'm gonna have to.
Oh, you're a gentleman, sir. I really didn't know that's why you were doing it. I just thought you were playing golf, and you had. And first off, I didn't know how you had a St. Gabriel. Did you play in it?
It was gifted to me. It was when we did the trivia night for TMA at St. Gabriel's.
That's right. When I saw that, I'm like, wow, Jackson has that.
I snuck into your house.
And well, it'd probably be different sizes if I'm being honest about the whole situation. Like I'm in the medium category right now, and that's probably XL, L. I don't know. I don't go with the baggy stuff.
Yeah, and to be fair, also, the first year and change of my life was spent in South City. Michigan,
is that right?
Michigan, Shenandoah.
Oh, that's like legit, too.
Yeah, that's where my mom's first house was. So that's where I lived first year and then change of my life. But either way, this is an homage to you.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful tribute, and it was super cool. I got it. I'm sure probably the vast majority of people are not aware, but since Jackson's bringing it up, I posted it on my Instagram, which I guess is public, I assume. I think it's the first post I've made on Instagram since we were with Lisa Ann in Jamaica.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm like, this I'll make an exception for. It's absolutely 100% brag. Let me make that clear. But since my sons were with me and I got a hole-in-one yesterday, I was like, you know what? I'm going to post this one. Because if I ever do go back to social media, it'll be nice to have that in one spot, especially since my boys were with me. That's what kind of made it special. So, yes, that was... And I didn't realize you wearing the St. Gabriel Golf Classic was a tribute.
It's an homage.
Thank you so
much. You probably hit like 1 million golf shots in your life, and for one to actually accomplish the goal of going in, it's a hell of an accomplishment. I'm glad you got to do it with your boys, and so I'm paying homage.
That was the best part.
Yeah.
And the fact that, because it was we weren't sure it went in, and so my 6-year-old ran up, and he was the one to confirm that it was in the hole. And so that was pretty cool. So I got a video of that part, too. Anyway, God bless America. Thank you, Jackson. 314-399-9646. That's how you can text in to the Air Comfort Service text line. And, of course, the YouTube chat is where the Balloon Party Mafia gathers. And I understand Don Pepe is waiting for us. He is back, and he had been missing.
Yeah, glad to see that.
I don't know what was going on there, but it's but Jay Delsing is listening, and he says, congrats, bro. Thank you. How many is this? My third hole-in-one. I would guess, let's set our over-under for Jay Delsing hole-in-ones. I'm going to go 9.5.
I was going to say 8.5 or 9.5. I'll say...
Well, then you got value on the under.
I'll say under 9.5, but I think it's 8.
Wow, you're insulting Jay Delsing.
See, now that was a nice setup, yeah. But, 8 seems about right. Because I know some players, at his level, and...
Oh, my God!
What does he have, 14 or something?
20!
Jesus. 20?
The hell?
20. I bet he's holed out with, every single club in his bag.
Yeah, how many albatrosses, I'd like to know.
Yeah,
albatross is tougher than a hole-in-one.
Absolutely.
As weird as this may sound, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm thrilled. I was thrilled that I had it happen with my sons, but I kind of think I'll probably have a couple more here and there, maybe if I'm lucky enough. I mean, so much of it's luck.
Totally.
There are some players who are a billion times better than me who don't have them yet. So a lot of it's luck.
Yeah.
But the albatross, I don't know if I'll ever have an albatross. An albatross, for the record, is a 2 on a par 5.
But the distance you hit the one yesterday, I mean,
It's a 199.
That could be theoretically like a second shot into a par 5, a shorter par 5.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, super cool. Been being with my sons was super cool about it. Jackson, what's the lead today? Where are you going? Are you going Cardinals? Wow.
Redbirds, yeah. Cardinal opening day.
Boy, the 618 won't be happy with that.
They'd be happy I stayed up till 11:30 when I wake up at 4:30 to watch the
Did you really stay up?
Oh, yeah.
How about you?
Yeah. Well, I was my plan was to watch the first half, and I just ended up like messing around on my phone during halftime, and I was like, and the second half started, I was like, it's Friday tomorrow, I'll just stay up and watch it. And the UNC Alabama game was really good too.
That was a great one.
So I was kind of going back and forth. I had the UNC Alabama game on my phone. So it was great.
Okay, well, hey, you're El Capitan. Eh? If you think it's Cardinals, I actually agree with you, but I'm just trying to stir the pot.
Right.
That's essentially what I do from 10 to 11. All right, what do we got?
Oh, the Redbirds.
It's the little piddle 6-shooter, everybody.
Yeah,
Welcome.
Friday 6-shooter. The Cardinals put on a real hitting clinic yesterday. Really rattled the bats.
Jackson.
No, everybody but Paul Goldschmidt went hitless, and the Dodgers drummed the Cardinals 7-1.
Well, I'll tell you what the story is I sit here, even though I blame you, for giving people this 3-game parlay.
Oh, my God.
Orioles -1.5 against the Angels. Sweat-free hit. Yankees, Astros. I see it at 8.5 with those two lineups playing in that stupid-ass ballpark.
Yeah.
Over. Squeaked by. It counts. Just like the Cardinal over and under with the Dodgers of 8.5. We missed it by a half a run. Now, I sit there and I say to myself, why didn't I just include taking the Dodgers? Because it was rather logical. But I then reverse engineer it to go back, why didn't I do that? And it was because I didn't want to be pulling against the Cardinals. I just don't want to do that. I'm not saying that, if things become obvious and we're not necessarily watching anything with a whole lot of excitement, like I could have bet against the Blues at the end of the year last year and been just at total peace with it. They weren't playing for anything. But I don't want to be cheering against the Cardinals on opening day.
No.
And so then I went with the over, which I would do again. Tyler Glasnow is a wide delta pitcher in 2 different ways. Number one, he may be, I'm sure somebody could probably present somebody who would be, but one of the pitchers who in 2024, and let's say over the last 5 seasons, that when healthy is top 5% in the game, but because he deals with so many health issues, he's kind of considered a risky play. And I'm talking about as an acquisition, for example, or as a salary, for example. So you have that issue with Glasnow. Well, you knew he was going to be healthy. He had already thrown in Korea for their series against the Padres, and he was ready to go against the Cardinals yesterday. The other delta that factors into your analytics on Glasnow is his control, which you go, well, that's groundbreaking stuff, Tim. But specific to him, if he is getting into trouble with falling behind in counts and walks, he is a mess. And he can really be a disaster for a rotation because he can get lit up. It's my point being, rarely do you have pitchers in 2024 who you go, yeah, he could probably go 7+ scoreless or with 1 earned run, or he could go out there and throw an inning and 2/3 and give up 7 or something like that. And when Glasnow, for whatever reason, is having location issues, he's a blow-up guy. Snell, as a Cy Young, or Cole, they can certainly do the former, but rarely will you see them do the latter. Snell's a little different bit of a story because he's a strikeout guy and he doesn't go as deep into games because he's throwing a lot more pitches, and he'll walk some guys too, but he doesn't have blow-up starts like Glasnow. Yesterday, as Paul Goldschmidt said, his location was on, and once he's on and then Yarbrough comes in, there's just nothing doing. Now, with that said, I know most Cardinal fans aren't focused on tipping their cap to the Dodgers. They're focused on 7-1, Miles Mikolas, and nobody on the Cardinals getting a hit, and I completely understand that. But there is another part of the story.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts about yesterday's game, and this is not a shot at BT. I love Brad Thompson.
Oh, wow. Radio wars.
No.
Jackson coming after teammates. That's what we got here.
Love BT, but Jordan Walker gets up to the plate. He's talking about, in spring he's working on laying off that low breaking ball outside, and then Jordan Walker proceeds to absolutely whiff at 2 breaking balls low and outside.
Tough spot.
I hated to see it, but then he did lay off a third one. But, I mean, when Glasnow, he was dealing, there really isn't much you can do. Like when Goldschmidt got that first hit, you're like, is that the best they can do? Is the best hitter on the team hits a little blooper out
I
to
know.
right
That was
field.
how I used to get on base, those kinds of hits. Oh, he can't get around on it, but he hit it over the second baseman's head today.
Yeah, so, I mean, but you're going up against not only Tyler Glasnow, who was, when he's on, you're right, he is nasty, but that Dodger lineup is just disgusting.
Which is why I sit there and I go, why didn't I just tell people to take the Dodgers? But I didn't want to do that. And I didn't want to do it individually, even if I wouldn't have talked about the parlay. Yeah, we missed it by a half a run.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, like the Cardinals, like...
Are you going to have to take out a loan on this now?
Nah, no.
Because the trust fund?
Always gamble
Once you turn
responsibly.
26, I think you got more access to the trust fund, right?
Yeah, but that's, when you got a good relationship, it's, you can be adjusted in case things get tight. But we're all right. We had a good weekend, first round of the tournament, so we're okay.
Were you on anybody on the tournament last night? Probably were cheering for Iowa State.
Was on Clemson. So,
wow. Well, then I know you won because there's no way Clemson was giving up points.
No, yeah, they were laying, that they were getting points, I think 7.5, and that covered no sweat there. Well, they won, so. But, yeah, offset a little bit of the issues I had in the Major League Baseball slate with that parlay.
Because you were on the Cardinals-Dodgers over separately before I released
the
parlay that was a half a run.
I was on that, and I was on Arenado being over half a hit because he usually tears it up on opening day. And I thought, well, just one hit. He did not get there. He hit the ball hard, but didn't get there.
Miles Mikolas really kind of a focal point. Now, from a Cardinal fan standpoint, focal point because he was the number 1 starter at this time of year with Gray out and starting opening day. And just, I don't think you were ever watching that and going, oh, he might have it today. It was problems from the get-go. If Ohtani's ball was hit at someone, would we have lost a member of the Cardinals?
The fact that he's able to pull it and rip it, probably 106-mile exit velo on a pitch down and away, is so unbelievable. So, the Cardinals are lucky that first inning, too, that he got messed up on. I don't know why they didn't
making the turn.
I don't know why they didn't send Mookie Betts. That was crazy to me. But, yeah, because that could have been really, I mean, that front, when you go Mookie Betts, who's now playing shortstop, which is incredible, Ohtani and Freddie Freeman as your first 3, I don't know, mate. Pitchers in Major League Baseball are going to get out of that scot-free. Yeah,
it's so then you sit there and you go, wow, even like the guys who are hitting 7, 8, 9 for him.
Teoscar Hernandez at 6.
You just go, and then, it's not like they're using Yamamoto tonight. He's not starting.
Right.
It's Bobby Miller, but you saw Glasnow. There are guys who are eventually going to return. I don't know what you'll get from Kershaw, but Buehler at some point.
Buehler, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. And Miles Mikolas was a focal point for Cardinal fans for not being any good, even though he keeps calling it weak contact. I don't know what that's about.
I think it's the Freeman's RBI single in the first.
Okay, I understand that, but this is like an ongoing thing with him, with talking about weak contact. So I don't know if it's a joke and I'm just not picking up on it.
I don't know.
Because there were 2 home runs.
The Mookie's was absolutely piped.
So I just don't know what that's about.
Inside.
Now, for Dodger fans, they were all over him because he had called the Dodgers checkbook baseball. Yeah. But the thing about the Dodgers, and one of the reasons why I say the Yankees and Red Sox and whoever else you would cite as being a team that would play checkbook baseball, haven't won championships and haven't had the perennial success like the Dodgers have, really dating back to 2013, even though I think you can go back before that. But that's when the run began. Is because they keep drafting and developing players. And yes, they obviously spend an absurd amount of money. Will Smith, catcher, just got a $140 million 10-year deal. And Ohtani's numbers and Yamamoto's numbers speak for themselves before you even get into Freeman and Betts. And I'm probably leaving other people out. But there are other players who have become Dodgers by the draft, and then they're brought up through the system, or the Dodgers are able to acquire players, like when the Cardinals faced the Dodgers and Scherzer in 21, because they were able to trade prospects. So, yes, it is checkbook baseball in one sense, but because they are able to develop players, that's why they have been able to sustain this. Don't get me wrong, the Dodgers TV deal puts damn near everybody else to shame. With that said, Dodgers fans and maybe some of the Dodgers were irritated by Mikolas' comments. Mikolas then said the following: money talks, right? I ended up on the losing side of that one. Talk a little smack here and there. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. He then complimented the fans for letting him hear it and then gave them a new reason to ridicule him when he took what sure sounded like a fresh jab at baseball's ongoing investigation into Ohtani after the superstar's interpreter was fired due to alleged involvement in illegal betting. Quote, I'll play the Vegas odds. I'll roll the dice. I'll bet on that all day. That weak contact is going to turn into outs. So, I'll just keep rolling with that. So that was the way that he handled his comments by going after Ohtani and his interpreter with it was like the Wes Welker right after Rex Ryan's whatever videos he was shooting with his wife with excuse me, ma'am, those are some nice feet videos. And I'll be shooting some of those this afternoon at Francis Park if anybody wants to drop by.
There you go.
Yeah, we always do that.
Yeah, it's a good little, Friday tradition.
Yeah, Friday spring tradition. Last Friday in March, Francis Park, that's where I'll be.
Wild. Yeah, personally with the Mikolas thing, when you got a lineup that looks like that, maybe let sleeping dogs lie, maybe try not to.
Because unfortunately, that's now, all right, we'll see the Dodgers next year. Now we got them 3 more in a row here.
Yeah.
Now, perhaps the best news for Cardinal fans is this. It never rains in Southern California. I thought it was Tony, but TMA listeners told me it was a guy in 1972. I had never heard of him.
Okay.
But it is going to rain in Southern California a lot tomorrow and Sunday, and so the Cardinals might dodge the Dodgers. Thank you. And then just be able to head down to San Diego. And I would imagine if it's raining in L.A., there's a good chance it's raining in San Diego.
Totally. Yeah. I hope
so. Maybe they can just focus on the Marlins next Thursday. Treat this like an NFL schedule, one a week.
Yeah, God.
For the home opener.
If that lineup, the Dodgers might win 120 games. Like, they are so stacked, man. Holy, I didn't even, you look at the roster and that's one thing, but when they're all standing up at the plate one after another, you're like, geez, how are you going to dodge this roster?
Another pun. I like puns. The thing about it is, and I would imagine a lot of you who watch playoff baseball in a similar vein is how I do. God almighty, it's 10:22. I'm sorry. The hell happened? I just look down and I go, it's probably 10:15. When that happens on this show, it matters. But anyway, let me just finish this thought. When the Cardinals are in a playoff series, there are points in the opposition's lineup where you kind of go, okay, we're through that. Now, you got 3 outs that you're likely to get before you get back to the top of the order. That does not exist with the 2024 Dodgers. It just doesn't exist. Yeah. And it's relentless. Yeah. And then you combine it with some pitching.
Yeah. What, Yarbrough have a 3-inning save yesterday?
Yeah, he did. A rare long inning save. So that was that. All right. Hey, 101 ESPN will be broadcasting live from the Budweiser Brewhouse inside Ballpark Village next Thursday for opening day. The home opener is almost here. And we'll be set up just steps away from Busch Stadium with the opening drive, BK and Ferrario, and the Fast Lane all coming to you live next Thursday, April 4th from Ballpark Village. Our opening day broadcast is brought to you by Holiday World and Splash and Safari and Budweiser. All right, we'll take a break, come back with more of the Little Piddles Friday 6-shooter here on Balloon Party 101 ESPN and the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. Welcome back. This is Balloon Party 101 ESPN. It's driven by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. My name is Tim McKernan. That's Jackson Burkett. And Jackson has prepared what he calls the Little Piddles Friday six-shooter. Next topic, Jackson, go.
Were there any details in yesterday's game? Because obviously the outcome is not going to be something that's encouraging, but any little details in yesterday's Cardinal game that are somewhat encouraging for fans?
I always like when you're going up against a strong offense and you're so confident in your pitching staff that you pull the infield in a 1-0 game.
God, that was...
Because that I'm like, oh, that's savvy. I'm like, extend him. But Victor Scott,
Yeah.
part 2, the remix, this is going to lead to, now we're not going to get to ILL or the Blues if I start going off on a baseball and speed/stolen base tangent. I just disagree with the premise that the stolen base is outdated or speed is less relevant now because the ballparks are not what they were when the Cardinals were running all over the place with AstroTurf. And truly what was, I mean, I know you weren't around for it, but that ballpark that they played in, with the dimensions and the size of the walls and the turf, I mean, it was insanity in comparison to what you have right now across baseball. If anything, the current Busch Stadium is more of a pitcher's park. But what it does, not only does it get a guy to second base, or back when Vince Coleman would get on base, third base, but it also messes with the pitcher, messes with the catcher, and then messes with the infield defense. It is a tactic that I think is incredibly relevant. The question becomes, do you have an organization that wants to be so bold as to go, okay, we're not going to try to hit home runs, we're going to focus on speed? Because you could lose your job if you try to orchestrate that kind of change for your organization and it falls flat. Whitey Herzog, when he did it, already had equity from his success in Kansas City. And the stolen base was absolutely way more common. I mean, at that time, you had Ricky Henderson doing it in Oakland, and Lou Brock had just done it in St. Louis. So things were different when he set up what became known as Whitey Ball in the 1980s. But if there's something that I take from that yesterday, it's good luck trying to throw out Victor Scott once he gets on base.
Yeah, yep. And with the rules, whether it be pitch clock, bigger bases,
and Matthew Liberatore would be my other one, but that isn't nearly as exciting.
Right, but with the rules like the bigger bases and also no obstruction in front of the
it's
bag,
a different deal than what Henderson, Coleman, and Lou Brock were doing.
You steal every single time.
I love it.
Yeah, and Victor's got so much swag on the base paths, man. Like the way he steps off of first, I think is cool. The way he angles his
here
hips.
It is. I'm gonna step out of the batter's box and point at left field. I know what I'm about to do, and you know what I'm about to do, and you can't stop it. How do you do?
Exactly. Like that is, I think it's a great part of it. It makes the game more fun to watch.
What you experienced with that one steal yesterday is what I grew up on and why I fell in love with the game.
Right.
The 1982 Cardinals, I think, had like a combined as a team 61 home runs, and they won the World Series.
Unbelievable. Okay, can you imagine that right now? Like 61 home run team winning the World Series.
But they ran, and they played great defense. And I just think that is a way that still in 2024 could win, but it is not viewed as such.
Right.
And, Victor Scott by himself can't change that, but maybe Scott and Mason win and the Cardinals go, holy crap, we got something here. Oh, I would love it because it's so exciting. I would watch first base more than I would watch home plate when the Cardinals were up to hit in the 1980s. Because you would watch the guy lead, you'd watch him turn and go, and then you knew it was a game. And it was a rush of excitement watching the catcher try and get him. And more often than not, they didn't. And it was such a huge part of the Cardinals' success and the fun of watching the games as well. In other words, let me put it this way. I'll draw an analogy with football. We were lucky in St. Louis that we had the Rams winning the way that they were winning from 99 through 2003, with the exception of 2002, because it was all offense and it was super fun to watch. Baltimore has really had a hell of a run for a couple of decades, going back to their 2000 team that won the Super Bowl championship. But yet I think they're kind of underappreciated because you go, oh, yeah, Joe Flacco and Trent Dilfer, won the Super Bowls. Defense may win championships, but offense gets people around the game talking. And this style of offense not only, I think, can win, but also bring some excitement back, too, for what may be a situation in which it might be lacking. 10:32, so I'm already late for break. I'm like, let's see if we can go to another question. No, we can't. No, we can't because of my time management. I'm sure we'll talk ILL and the Blues in the second half of the program. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you. This is Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. James Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, Webster Groves. 314-961-4800 or go online at carltoninsurance.net or just type his name in a Google search engine and you will see 363 five-star reviews for James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. He's online at carltoninsurance.net. He is my insurance agent, and I would love for him to become your insurance agent as well. If you are a parent with your kids still on your insurance policy and they're under the age of 25, but 16 or older, James has found that he has been able to save a lot of our listeners money on those insurance cases where you have a child who's driving, but on your policy, that's where he can really save you some money. So if you match up that description, go online at carltoninsurance.net. When you make the switch, they do all the paperwork for you. It couldn't be any easier, and they couldn't be any better. It's James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, online at carltoninsurance.net.
This is Action Jackson with a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues win last night, defeating the Flames. The Blues will be back in action tomorrow night as they take on the San Jose Sharks. You can catch that game right here on the home of the Blues, 101 ESPN. Pregame at 6 p.m., puck drop at 7 p.m. The Cardinals lose yesterday. Final score 7-1 in Los Angeles. They will take on the Dodgers again tonight. Zach Thompson on the mound, 9-10. Your first pitch. And last night in the NBA, the Hawks defeat the Celtics 123-122. DeJounte Murray with 44 points. That was their Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Welcome back. This is Balloon Party. My name is Tim McKernan, and that's Jackson Burkett. And he's got a little Piddles Friday six-shooter here. First half of the program, talking Cardinals in the opener. Now we're going to talk ILL and Blues hockey. Hello again, everybody.
Yeah, ILL with a big W last night over the Iowa State Cyclones. Really gutsy performance, doing it defensively against the best defensive team in the country. Now they're going to face Danny Hurley in UConn, who has smoked every single person they've played, won by double digits in their last 8 or 9 tournament games. If you're an Illinois fan, is this kind of perfect because you're totally free-rolling against the top-seeded team?
Oh, Jackson, so many wonderful questions. You're all grown up, and you're all grown up. If I had my love for Illinois like I love Missouri, I would love this because you're an 8-point underdog, and to be the man, you got to beat the man. Nature Boy Ric Flair. Think about that.
Can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah. And if you can go to your first Final Four in 19 years by knocking off a guy who is, I think, becoming unlikable to many. I don't think many people even knew much about him this time last year. Mm-hmm. But since he's complaining about things on a regular basis in his post-game press conference, even though, as you noted, his team doesn't really have much sweat in their wins in the NCAA tournament, and you're not expected to win. If I were a Missouri fan and Missouri were in the college football playoff, let's say this is the Saban era, and you're playing Alabama and Tuscaloosa, you're already in the playoff, and you're not expected to win, but if you get to go up against, again, this is the Saban-era Alabama, and we're saying that the college football playoffs around at that time, I'd be like, man, if you're going to get there, you're going to have to beat teams like this anyway.
Right.
So this could be the signature way for us to get to the Final Four, and that is what you got. And by the way, I think the fact that Illinois is an 8-point underdog speaks to just how good UConn is. I don't think that's a slight on Illinois because I don't know if you could point to too many teams in the tournament who are still around anyway that people would say are playing better than Illinois. Maybe Purdue, but as you always talk about with Purdue, they're so leveraged on how Edey plays and how teams try to match him up. Mm-hmm. So they're playing so damn well, and you got a chance to go up against the absolute best, play them in Boston, not too far away, another bus ride from Storrs, Connecticut for them, and see what you can do with a chance to send yourself to the Final Four. Perfect set of circumstances. Totally. I love it. I'm fired up to watch it.
Absolutely. Yeah, this game, more so than any Illinois game so far, scares me the most because they have dominant big man on UConn, and that can be somewhat of a struggle for Illinois, but they've defied a bunch of different adversities. Like, when you have a guy like Terrence Shannon who's playing as well as he is, there is no team that's too stiff of competition. He is playing like an absolute superhero. And, you know, if you keep and the free roll thing, man, like you're not expected to win. You're going up against a team. They won by 30 last night in the Sweet 16. 30 points to the team that was in the national championship with them last year. Like, UConn is playing just an unbelievable brand of basketball. But Illinois, like you said, is playing as good as anybody. So I'm really looking forward to this one.
If there's one thing that I would say this now works to their advantage, I bet some people are going, oh, man, they had to skate by. That was a tighter game than maybe it should have been, considering the leads that they had jumped out to against a team known for its defense, not its offense. But I think that's a credit to Illinois for being able to do that because it immediately changes the game. It forces Iowa State to now play a different style of offense than they were accustomed to because they smother teams defensively. Illinois advances to the Elite Eight shooting 51% from the line.
Yeah.
was it 15 of 29 or something like that, or
Shannon was
16 of 31? I don't know, something like that. Yes, and Shannon was 5 of 10. That's you're not going to repeat that. That's a one-off. If it does, well, that's a mathematical phenomenon. Point being, not to say that UConn's going to overlook them, but Illinois was much better than Iowa State yesterday.
Yes.
Much better than Iowa State. Even if they hit just 5 of those, 15 or 16 that they missed, which is only 33%, that changes that game's makeup substantially. And I think Illinois fans might be feeling a little more confident. Maybe UConn is not overlooking them. Again, I don't want to say they're overlooking them, but what I'm saying is that performance yesterday was more impressive than perhaps the score indicates.
Couldn't agree more.
And so from that standpoint, I love this. I mean, I love this more than if they were playing San Diego State. You get to try to, eviscerate the defending champion, who's not just like a defending champion, but a champion who looks like they're in line to make it back to back. I mean, they're the first team since 2007. I assume this is Florida. To get to the Elite Eight as a defending champion. That's an amazing statistic.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So much so that I was like, is this actually correct?
Yeah.
But you had Florida back-to-back, if I'm not mistaken. UCLA was lurking around at that time too. But yeah, that's what you got, and that speaks to how college basketball, it's tough to have some form of a dynasty, and not to say that one year and another run is a dynasty, but that's what UConn has. That's who Illinois gets. Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. I can't wait to see how Shannon does in the spot that he will be, because like you said, UConn's presence inside is Illinois' weakness. So let's see how they handle it.
Can't wait, man. Can't wait. If they defend the pick and roll like they did last night against Iowa State, they can stay in any basketball game. That was outstanding schemes from Brad Underwood.
There it is. All right, we'll talk Blues and their win last night. And now we're turning our attention to the LA Kings more so than the Vegas Golden Knights. The Blues are 5 back of the Kings. They lost last night to Edmonton. Vegas, to their credit, I mean, holy crap. At the start of the week, you're going, wow. Monday night in St. Louis, Tuesday night, back-to-back in Nashville, and then Thursday night, 3 out of 4 nights in Winnipeg. And they have picked up 5 of 6 points. And they really, I'm sure, are going, we really should have gotten 6 of 6 because they were up big on the Predators in the third period before blowing that one. But either way, 5 of 6 points, and now they're putting themselves into a really good spot. It's the Kings who are within the Blues' sights. We'll talk about that as the Blues win last night 5-3, in addition to some final Cardinal thoughts here on Balloon Party 101 ESPN. Final segment, Balloon Party 101 ESPN. My name is Tim McKernan. That's Jackson Burkett. Well, Jackson, they're not happy with the show and
What do we do?
Air Comfort Service text inbox. What's that?
What do we do?
Hold on a second.
Deliver broadcast excellence? That gets them upset?
From the 636, I wonder if the local sports station knows we have a soccer team.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
I heard you say something. It was like under your breath. But as a parent, I pick up on that.
Right. Well, they play on Saturday, and the local baseball team started their season yesterday. The college basketball team that plays just 3 hours away is in the Elite Eight. We haven't even talked about the team that carries their games on our station yet, so maybe just, you know what I'd do, Tim? I'd say put it in neutral and just and know that we got the wheel.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, just know. Just know we got the wheel. We love the dogs.
Yeah, we'll see you in Salt Lake tomorrow night. Jackson, if it's all right, I guess we could take a vote if people would like us to get you ready for City and Real Salt Lake. We can do so, or we can talk Blues and Flames and how things shake out in the Western Conference playoff spots since there are only a handful of games left. I mean, this is a democracy. Is this a democracy? This isn't Russia. Is this Russia, Russ? It's not Russia, is it?
It's not. This is America. However, I think we're on the right track here.
I'll take your question on the Blues, and then I'll see what the democracy says in the YouTube chat and on the Air Comfort Service text line.
The Blues extinguished the Flames last night, Tim.
Oh, riding.
What do you make of it?
Wow.
It's hard.
What do you mean it's hard?
I don't like. I was trying to come up with some interesting topic to lead to a fruitful conversation about the Blue Note, but they just play the game against the Flames that they should have won, and they won.
Okay, but now the LA Kings are within their sights.
And, but they're up against it.
They're up against it, but hey, you got the Shacks on Saturday. That's one the Blues should get.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. I got to be honest with the audience, because this is called honesty in media, that I had kind of just moved on past the Kings and was solely on VGK and the Wild, and kind of had unfortunately been like, oh, Vegas doesn't. And I saw Vegas was 1-1 in the third period last night. I'm like, okay, let's see if the Jets can get them in the third period. Don't go to overtime. And it didn't go to overtime. Vegas won 4-1. What in the hell? So Vegas winning 5 of 6 possible points in St. Louis, in Nashville, and in Winnipeg in 4 nights. I mean, you tip your cap. The Kings lost last night in Edmonton. The Blues are doing what they need to do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would have told me on the morning of that game against the Boston Bruins that they would pick up 7 of 9 wins, including a 5-1 win against the Bruins that night, I mean, I would have bet against that all day long. And really, one of those losses, Colorado, was there. And, I mean, it's frustrating. It also speaks to the depth of talent in the Western Conference, that they're still not really within range. They still have a 4% chance, according to Money Puck, of making the playoffs. Take care of business tomorrow night against the Sharks. Pregame 6 p.m. here on 101 ESPN, and then see what happens, Jackson. The issue is I was looking at the Kings' schedule, and they have a very friendly schedule the rest of the way. And just this is the way that it plays. This happens in baseball, certainly, but it really happens in hockey. If you have teams that are fighting at the end versus teams such as, like the Sharks, the Ducks, the Blue Jackets, the Blackhawks, again, it's not absolute, but I'm telling you, first off, the teams aren't good anyway. That's why they're in their spot. So obviously they're less likely to win number one, but they just get run at this time of year. Las Vegas is well aware of it. When Vegas was playing, I think it was Columbus this past Saturday night. I don't know. They were playing one of the butt asses, and they were minus 380. It's not like Las Vegas, as in the books, not the hockey team, is going, oh, hold on a second. They know you got to pay for it, but it's just the way that it kind of works out. And the Blues get, fortunately, one of those teams tomorrow night. The problem is that when I was looking at the Kings' schedule, the Kings have a lot of those teams coming up. For the record, Vegas and Minnesota play tomorrow. Blues are in a weird spot. You want to see Minnesota win, but Minnesota's still on the Blues' heels. Blues, as I made reference to, get the Sharks in St. Louis. Then they will have Edmonton Monday night before heading out on the road. The Kings get the team the Blues beat last night, the Flames, and the Flames are in let's focus on 2024, 2025 mode and have lost 4 or 5 in a row themselves. So it's just going to be tough for the Blues to get one of these. And for the record, you might be wondering, since they're in the same division with the Kings and Vegas Golden Knights play each other, and they don't play each other the rest of the way. So schedule-wise, weirdly, Vegas plays Minnesota twice, but they don't play the Kings the rest of the way. So, Jackson, fine, I'll do it. You want a schedule reading? I'll do it. I'm doing this, though, for the ladies in the balcony. I'm going to take off my sunglasses. I don't know how my eyes are as blue as the ocean, but they are. Here they are. At Calgary, at Winnipeg, that'll be a test. At home against Seattle, at San Jose, at home against Vancouver, at Anaheim versus Calgary versus Anaheim versus Minnesota versus the Blackhawks. It would be tough for me to imagine that the Kings go in the tank that badly with that schedule.
Right.
That's where I am on it. Do with it what you want. You know what the Blues can do? Take care of their own business.
Speaking of the Flames, Tim, I think
it's time for a uniform observation.
No, I think
You want to talk about the Monday Night Miracle and Doug Waite's performance?
No, I think I might combust. It's like 1,000 degrees in here, and I really think I'm about to I am dripping sweat under this St. Gabriel sweater.
Wow, is that right? I mean, I noticed that it's a little warmer, but
the sun is also beating down from the windows.
Yeah, I don't have that.
I think I might combust here. I am.
It's in my contract that somebody has to hold a parasol over me. That was like the final negotiation point.
It was it took a while to get that one through. Yeah. But you're glad you did on days like today.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is so hot in here. I am dying. I know, right? I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just hot. I just want that to be known.
Jackson is filing a complaint on air. It's very passive-aggressive. Audience is not sympathetic, as you might imagine.
So hot. This is unbelievable.
Anything else that you'd like to talk about?
I got nothing.
You got nothing. All right.
I got Gonzaga and Purdue under 154.5.
Oh, you've released a play.
I got that. That's what I got, and I'm pretty confident on it, to be honest.
I only had $25 on that parlay yesterday, and it was like all going down when I got the hole-in-one. So as you can imagine, my focus really wasn't on. But I'm dead serious. I walked into the pro shop to say, hey, I got a hole-in-one. So, you got to have it, who was the witness.
Right.
And I'm watching, I think it was Contreras who was up with a runner on.
Goalie on, yeah.
And I'm like, for whatever reason, which just speaks volumes about my mentality, the hole-in-one was like less of a focus than the
just turn on one, Wilson.
If you could, just one more run.
Especially Nolan, and he kind of
all of a sudden we could become touts on Balloon Party.
Yeah.
We love the Orioles today.
Yeah, I'll bet Orioles money line for the rest of the season if they're going to.
I think what we might be able to do is just bet against the A's and Rockies.
Yeah.
That's all we're going to do. A unit, a game. We know the money line prices will be costly, but those two operations aren't really interested in competing.
What the Rockies?
The Rockies gave up 13 runs in an inning. You said 13 runs in the game. No. 13 runs in an inning. The A's had more people in their parking lot protesting than they did inside the building. And then they were able to sprinkle 4 hits against the Guardians. Rockies also did some sprinkling of 4 hits.
Yeah, might be the right play.
How would you feel if, I know we're frustrated here in St. Louis with the Cardinals, and this isn't just because of last night, but what about these teams that are kind of year in, year out, just they don't even try?
Oh, I know. It's unbelievable. Like the Rockies. If you're a Rockies fan, what do you have to look forward to?
And you're in that division where I think any of those 4 teams other than the Rockies in that division would win the National League Central. Yeah. Padres, Diamondbacks, Giants, and, of course, the team we got a little taste of yesterday. All right, we got to go. BK and Ferrario are up next. Have a wonderful holiday weekend. For Jackson Burkett, I'm Tim McKernan. This has been Balloon Party on 101 ESPN.